You see, it's easy to be inspired. It's easy to sit in a room like this, feel motivated, write a few notes down, and promise yourself that tomorrow will be different. Inspiration feels good, desire feels powerful, but let me tell you something, desire is common, discipline is rare. Everyone wants to be successful, everyone wants to be respected, everyone wants to live a life of significance. But wanting is not the same as working, wishing is not the same as doing, and hoping is not a strategy. Excellence begins the moment you understand that your life will not be changed by your intentions. It will be changed by your actions. And actions are governed by discipline. Discipline is doing what must be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Especially when you don't feel like doing it, because feelings are temporary, moods change, motivation rises and falls. But discipline builds structure around your life so that progress continues even when enthusiasm fades. Some days you'll wake up excited, other days you'll wake up tired. If you only work on the days you feel excited, you'll have an inconsistent life. And an inconsistent life never produces consistent results. The man or woman who masters daily excellence understands this. Success is not built on dramatic breakthroughs. It's built on disciplined routines, the simple things done every day, reading 10 pages when you'd rather scroll on your phone, practicing your craft when no one is applauding, waking up early when the bed feels more comfortable than your dreams. Those small, quiet acts of discipline may not look impressive, but they compound, they multiply, they build strength in places no one else can see. And here's what's fascinating, discipline is far less painful than regret. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. If you choose to avoid discipline today, you don't escape pain, you simply postpone it. And postponed pain grows heavier over time. When you decide to embrace discipline, something powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself. You tell yourself you're going to do something, and you do it. That builds confidence. Not the loud, boastful kind, the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't need approval because it knows it can rely on itself. Daily excellence is not about being extreme. It's not about working 18 hours a day until you burn out. It's about creating a standard for your behavior and honoring it consistently. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be persistent. There will be days you stumble. There will be days you fall short. Discipline doesn't mean you never fail. It means you don't quit. And here's the shift that changes everything. Stop asking yourself, what do I feel like doing today? And start asking, what does my future require of me today? Your future has requirements. The person you want to become has habits. The life you want to live has standards. The results you want to achieve demand certain behaviors. Discipline is simply aligning your daily behavior with your long-term vision. It's easy to say, one day I'll get serious, but one day turns into next month turns into next year. And suddenly, you're 5 years older, wondering why nothing has changed. Life does not respond to what we intend to do. Life responds to what we actually do. That's why excellence is not an accident. It's a decision repeated daily. Think about it. If you improve your skills just a little each day, if you strengthen your character just a little each day, if you sharpen your focus just a little each day, over time you become unrecognizable from who you once were, not because of a single dramatic moment, but because of disciplined consistency. And discipline is available to everyone. It doesn't require special talent. It doesn't require perfect conditions. It requires a choice to honor your commitments, a choice to keep your word to yourself, a choice to do what is necessary instead of what is convenient. Convenience is the enemy of greatness. If you live by convenience, you'll always choose the easy path. And the easy path rarely leads to excellence, but when you choose discipline, you begin to walk a different road, one that may be harder in the beginning but far more rewarding in the end. Over time, discipline becomes less about forcing yourself and more about becoming someone who simply does what needs to be done. It becomes part of your identity. You no longer struggle with whether or not you act because that's who you are. And when discipline becomes your identity, excellence stops being a goal and starts being your standard. That's when your life begins to change, not because you wished for more, but because you worked for more. And the day you stop negotiating with your excuses is the day excellence truly begins. Now, let me share something that can completely transform the way you look at progress. Most people are impatient with success. They want dramatic change. They want visible results. They want to plant the seed today and harvest the fruit tomorrow. But life doesn't operate that way. Life responds to small, consistent improvements. We tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in a short period of time and underestimate what we can accomplish over a longer period of time. That's why people start strong and quit early. They expect too much too fast, and when it doesn't happen, they assume it isn't working. But daily excellence is not about sudden leaps. It's about steady steps. Imagine improving just a little each day. Just a fraction, a small refinement in your skill, a small shift in your mindset, a small increase in your effort. At first, it doesn't look impressive. It doesn't feel powerful. No one applauds you for it, but those small improvements compound. And compounding is one of the most powerful forces in the world. A tiny improvement today makes tomorrow slightly better. That slightly better tomorrow makes the next day even stronger, and over time, those slight edges separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. The difference between someone who succeeds and someone who struggles is often not talent. It's not background. It's not even opportunity. It's the willingness to improve just a little bit more each day. One extra page read, one extra sales call made, one extra hour spent sharpening a skill, one extra moment of patience in a difficult conversation. Those small actions seem insignificant in isolation, but repeated consistently, they create momentum. And momentum is a remarkable thing. Once it starts rolling, it becomes easier to continue than to stop. The challenge is that small improvements are invisible in the beginning. You don't see dramatic change after one workout. You don't see mastery after one practice session. You don't see wealth after one disciplined financial decision. So people quit. They say, it's not working, but what they really mean is, it's not working fast enough. Excellence requires faith in the process. Faith that what you're doing today, though small, is building something significant. Faith that consistent effort, even when unnoticed, is shaping your future. You see, success is rarely about intensity. It's about consistency. Anyone can be intense for a day. Anyone can be motivated for a week, but can you show up steadily? Can you improve gradually? Can you commit to small progress even when it feels boring? Because daily excellence is often boring, it's repeating the fundamentals, it's practicing the basics. It's refining what you already know. Masters are not masters because they discovered secret shortcuts. They are masters because they never abandoned the fundamentals. They understood that small improvements applied relentlessly create extraordinary results. Think of a craftsman shaping a piece of wood. He doesn't strike it once and expect a masterpiece. He sands it carefully. He measures precisely. He adjusts patiently. Each pass may remove only a tiny amount, but eventually a beautiful form appears. Your life works the same way. If you improve your attitude just slightly, your relationships improve. If you improve your communication just slightly, your opportunities expand. If you improve your health just slightly, your energy increases. Each improvement feeds the next, and here's something important: small improvements are sustainable. Massive overhauls often lead to burnout, grand resolutions fade, but small, manageable changes, those you can repeat. And repetition is where transformation lives. Instead of trying to change everything at once, focus on changing one thing consistently. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for progress. Instead of asking, "How can I revolutionize my life this month?" ask, "How can I be 1% better today?" That 1% may not look like much, but over a year, it creates a completely different version of you. The slight edge doesn't scream for attention. It whispers. It's the quiet decision to go a little further than required. It's the internal commitment to raise your standard just a notch. It's choosing growth over comfort in small, daily moments, and those moments add up. Every day you either invest in your future or withdraw from it. Every small discipline is a deposit. Every neglected opportunity is a withdrawal. Over time, the account reflects your daily choices. The beautiful part is this: you don't need to be extraordinary to begin. You simply need to begin. You don't need a break through idea. You need a consistent action plan. Small improvements remove the intimidation of big goals. They make excellence accessible. They remind you that greatness is not reserved for the gifted. It is built by the committed. And when you commit to daily, incremental growth, something powerful happens. You stop chasing quick wins and start building lasting success. You stop being discouraged by slow progress because you understand that slow progress is still progress. Eventually, what seemed small becomes significant, what felt minor becomes monumental. And others may call it overnight success, but you'll know it was daily improvement, quietly compounded over time. Extraordinary results are nothing more than small disciplines practiced consistently. And when you respect the power of small improvements, you unlock the secret to lasting excellence. Let me share something with you that has the power to change your life if you truly accept it. You do not get what you want. You get what you tolerate. You can want success all day long. You can desire wealth, respect, influence, peace of mind. But if you tolerate procrastination, you will get delay. If you tolerate poor habits, you will get poor results. If you tolerate average effort, you will build an average life. Daily excellence begins with a decision about your personal standards. Standards are not wishes. Standards are not hopes. Standards are the line you draw in the sand and say, "This is who I am. This is how I operate. This is what I accept from myself." And here is something important. The world does not decide your standards, you do. If you decide that being late is acceptable, then lateness becomes part of your identity. If you decide that cutting corners is acceptable, integrity slowly weakens. If you decide that good enough is good enough, growth quietly stops. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your standards. That is why two people can set the same goal and end up in completely different places. One has higher standards for discipline, focus, and follow through. The other negotiates with excuses. Your standards shape your daily behavior, and your daily behavior shapes your destiny. Now, let's be honest, raising your standards is uncomfortable. The moment you say, "From this day forward, I will not accept less than my best," you create internal pressure. Because now you must act differently, you must think differently, you must respond differently. You can no longer blame circumstances. You can no longer blame other people. You can no longer hide behind convenience. Personal excellence requires personal responsibility. It requires looking in the mirror and asking, "Where have I been tolerating less than I'm capable of?" That question alone can create a turning point. Maybe you've been tolerating inconsistency. You start strong and finish weak. Maybe you've been tolerating distractions that steal your focus. Maybe you've been tolerating negative self-talk that quietly erodes your confidence. What you tolerate, you validate. If you allow it, you approve it, and if you approve it, it becomes permanent. When you raise your standards, you interrupt that cycle. You say, "This behavior no longer fits the person I am becoming." Notice I said the person you are becoming. Because excellence is not about perfection today, it's about alignment with your future self. If you want to become disciplined, then your standard must be discipline. If you want to become respected, your standard must be integrity. If you want to become successful, your standard must be growth. And growth requires honesty. It requires admitting that some of your current habits are beneath your potential. It requires acknowledging that some of your results are not because life is unfair, but because your standards have been too low. That realization is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to empower you. Because if your results are connected to your standards, then you can change your results by raising those standards. You don't need a new economy. You don't need new luck. You don't need perfect timing. You need a higher standard for yourself. Higher standards change how you spend your time. They change how you speak. They change how you prepare. They change how you respond when things don't go your way. Instead of asking, "What's the minimum I can do?" you begin asking, "What does excellence require?" Instead of asking, "Can I skip this just once?" you ask, "Does this align with who I'm becoming?" And slowly, something powerful happens. Your confidence grows, not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. You trust yourself more because you know you won't compromise your standards for temporary comfort. Standards create boundaries, and boundaries protect your future. Without standards, life becomes reactive. You respond based on mood, pressure, or convenience. With standards, life becomes intentional. You respond based on principle. And principles are steady. They do not fluctuate with emotion. They do not disappear when motivation fades. They guide you when circumstances are uncertain. That is the heart of daily excellence, self-leadership. The ability to lead yourself when no one is watching. The ability to hold yourself accountable when no one is checking. The ability to demand more from yourself than the world demands from you. That is rare, but that is powerful. You don't need to raise your standards for everyone else. Raise them for you. Raise them because you respect your potential. Raise them because you understand that average effort produces average results. If you truly want to master the art of daily excellence, begin here. Examine what you've been tolerating, decide what must change, and draw a new line, because the quality of your life will never exceed the standards you set for yourself. And the moment you refuse to accept less than your best is the moment your best begins to appear. Now let's take this one step deeper. Excellence is not something you turn on when people are watching. It is not a performance you give when the spotlight finds you. Excellence is a lifestyle. It is a way of living that shows up in the smallest details of your day. Anyone can perform for a moment. Anyone can rise to the occasion once in a while. But daily excellence is about who you are consistently. It's easy to work hard when there's applause waiting at the finish line. It's easy to push yourself when recognition is guaranteed. But what about the days when no one notices? What about the effort that no one praises? What about the quiet discipline that receives no reward? That's where true excellence is built. If you only perform when there is pressure, your growth will be limited to those moments. But if excellence becomes part of your identity, you don't need an audience, you don't need external validation. You act with excellence because that's who you are. Think about it this way. A professional athlete doesn't train only on game day. A musician doesn't practice only when there's a concert. The performance you see is simply the reflection of what was practiced in private. Your life works the same way. How you answer emails, how you show up to meetings, how you treat the waiter at a restaurant, how you speak to your family when you're tired. These are not small things. These are indicators of your standard. These are reflections of your lifestyle. Excellence as a lifestyle means you don't separate your character from your ambition. You don't say, "I'll be disciplined at work but careless at home." You don't say, "I'll pursue success publicly but neglect integrity privately." When excellence becomes your lifestyle, it touches everything. It changes how you think. Instead of looking for shortcuts, you look for growth. Instead of cutting corners, you build foundations. Instead of chasing quick recognition, you build lasting value. And here is something powerful. When excellence becomes who you are, success becomes a byproduct. You no longer chase success directly. You chase improvement, you chase integrity, you chase contribution, and success naturally follows. That's why some people seem steady regardless of circumstances. They are not driven by emotion alone. They are guided by identity. They've decided, "This is the kind of person I am." If you see yourself as someone who finishes what they start, you finish. If you see yourself as someone who honors commitments, you follow through. If you see yourself as someone who learns continuously, you grow. Identity drives behavior. If you struggle with consistency, it may not be a discipline problem. It may be an identity problem. You may still see excellence as something you try to do instead of something you are. But the moment you say, "I am becoming a person of excellence," your decisions begin to align with that belief. And excellence is most visible during adversity. When things go well, it's easy to smile. When the deal closes, when the promotion arrives, when the plan succeeds, anyone can look confident then. But what about when things fall apart? What about when the effort doesn't pay off immediately? What about when you face rejection, disappointment, delay? Excellence as a lifestyle means you respond with strength even then. You don't allow temporary setbacks to define permanent identity. You don't allow one mistake to erase years of progress. You stay steady, you adjust, you learn, you continue. That steadiness is rare, and it's powerful. It's also contagious. When you live with daily excellence, you influence others without even trying. People notice your consistency. They notice your integrity. They notice your work ethic. You don't need to announce it. Your lifestyle speaks for you, and here is the beautiful part. Excellence compounds in every area of life. When you bring excellence into your health, your energy improves. When you bring excellence into your relationships, trust grows. When you bring excellence into your work, opportunities expand. It's not fragmented, it's holistic. You don't live one way on stage and another way off stage. You don't have two standards, one for convenience and one for visibility. You have one standard and you carry it everywhere. This is not about perfection. You will still make mistakes. You will still have difficult days. Excellence is not the absence of failure. It is the refusal to settle. It is waking up each morning and choosing alignment over comfort. It is deciding that how you live matters more than how you appear. Over time, excellence stops feeling like effort. It becomes natural. It becomes your rhythm. It becomes your reputation. And eventually, it becomes your legacy. People may forget your words. They may forget your titles. They may even forget your achievements. But they will remember the way you lived. They will remember the consistency of your character. Because excellence, when practiced daily, becomes something far greater than success. It becomes who you are. And when excellence becomes your identity, greatness is no longer something you chase. It is something you embody.